Hello student, we'll continue with the chapter Excretion. In the last class we have studied about the nephrons having two parts. First is renal corpuscle. In that we have studied glomerulus and Bowman capsule. I have detailedly told you about the glomerulus. Now the next part is the vasa recta. Next is vasa recta, in which vasa recta are surrounded on. The second is renal tubules. On renal tubules, vasa recta is present. Vasa recta is the network network of blood capillaries that covers the Henle's loop. Now through this blood, the reabsorption of the useful things like glucose, amino acid will take place. In renal tubules, we'll study the Malpighian corpuscles, PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, and DCT of nephrons, which are situated in the cortical region, where loop of Henle is present in the medullary region. If we make a flow diagram to discuss the pathway of nephrons, firstly from the glomerulus, which are present, the blood capillaries which is present in the Bowman capsule, will come to PCT and then loop, which is called as loop of Henle. In this we have two type of loop of Henle, as we have already discussed, the descending loop of Henle, while the other is the ascending. And in total this loop of Henle is 22 mm in length, while PCT is 14 mm. Now from the loop of Henle it will enter into a DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, which is 15 mm in length. Then from the DCT it will enter into the straight tube, which is called as collecting tubule. It is 20 mm in length. From this straight tube called collecting tubule, ultrafiltration of urine will take place. This collecting tubule is lined by a cuboidal epithelium. That means the collecting tubule is made up of cuboidal epithelial tissue. In this way, the nephron works. These are the different parts of the nephron. Now we'll discuss according to position. Nephrons is divided into two groups. First we will discuss, first type is juxtamedullary. Juxtamedullary nephron. As the name suggests, These nephrons, the maximum part will reside in the medullary region. The glomerulus is placed in cortex while they are having the long loop of Henle which is present in the medullary region, and they are associated with vasa recta. That means in gastromedullary region, the only part which is placed in the cortex is glomerulus, while the rest of the renal tubules, all the PCT, loop of Henle, DCT, collective tubule will reside in the medullary region. Now the next is cortical nephron. The cortical nephron is the most common nephron. Means 85% of nephron are cortical in nature. Their maximum part reside in the cortex, while only the small part of the loop of Henle is in the medullary region. They have glomerulus in outer cortex and short loop of Henle in the medullary region. And the most important is they lack vasa recta. Now this is all about the type of nephrons according to the position. Now we'll discuss the urine formation. How the urine forms. It involves three processes. The first is glomerular filtration. Next is reabsorption of useful components like glucose, amino acid, ions, minerals, and the third is secretion, which are not reabsorbed will secrete in the urine. So, how will urine formation equals to filtration minus reabsorption, because it is not removed out in the form with the urine, it is reabsorbed by the blood and will remain in the body. Next is reabsorption plus filtration secretion. First we will describe the glomerular filtration. As it is suggested by the name, it is carried out by the glomerulus. On an average, it has 1100 to 1200 ml of blood which get filtrated by kidney per minute, which is 1/5 of body, which is 1/5 of blood pumped by the heart. The glomerular in the glomerulus, the glomerular capillary blood pressure causes filtration of blood by involving three layers. With the help of these three layers, the filtration occurs. The first one is endothelium layer of glomerulus. Next is epithelium layer of Bowman capsule, in which the glomerulus is situated, the Bowman capsule. Third layer is basement membrane. These are the three layers which is also responsible for the filtration. One important point or the note before continuing with the lecture thing is ultrafiltration contains all constituents of blood which are reabsorbed except blood corpuscles and plasma protein. These are the two things which will not be filtered through the glomerulus in the Bowman capsule, blood corpuscles and the plasma protein, the proteins which are present in the plasma. If we see then the GFR is the glomerulus filtrate rate or filtration rate. GFR equals to 125 ml per minute while 180 liter per day in human kidney. Now we'll discuss about the three layers which I have told you. First is vascular endothelium layer, which is fenestrated. Fenestrated means they have pores of 8 nm in diameter. They are fenestrated because for the filtration and only the molecule which is or the element having the 8 nm of size can pass, while in case of blood plasma and blood corpuscles they are having the larger diameter, they cannot be filtered, while rest is basement and epithelial layer have pores and they carry negative charge, while in endothelium layer they are only fenestrated and having pore size which cannot permit the molecule having more than 8 nm diameter, while basement membrane and epithelial layer having pores plus negative, they are negatively charged. That's why the filtrate, the substance which getting filtration, for the filtration size and charge are the important criterias. Now the next thing note which is important, the keratin get totally out of body, that is no reabsorption of keratin occurs. It has to be totally removed from a body, while glucose and amino acid, they totally reabsorbed by the nephron part of nephrons. They are completely or totally absorbed. Now, if we next reabsorption, we see reabsorption. Then what are reabsorption occur in TCT, DCT, loop of Henle, and collecting duct. Here, all glucose, amino acid, vitamins, organic nutrients, and mostly water get reabsorbed. Now next is secretion, tubular secretion. It is a selective process. It occurs both active and passive transport. That means with the aid of energy, active, well, passively without any external force or aid. Certain secretions like urea, keratin, keratinin, drugs need to be removed along with urine. So they are not absorbed and will removed out in the filtration, which has to be removed out of the body, because urea, keratin and toxic effect of drugs can cause harmful effect if they reside in the body. This is all about the urine formation.